as we welcome you inside McKeon Park in Hyannis. Let's play some baseball. In fact, how about a pair? Hyannis has played just 2 full games in the last week, and here they are set on this Sunday afternoon, ready to take on the Eastern Division Harwich Mariners in what'll be a double dip at McKeon Park. Now, last season, Hyannis had a whole lot of success against this Harwich team from out east. In fact, so much they won all of their 4 appearances. 2 out at in Harwich and 2 here at McKeon Park in Hyannis. But new year, new teams, and they're set to square off for 2 7-inning contests here this afternoon. And on the mound, it's got a chance to be power versus power. Patrick Fredrickson, the sophomore out of the University of Minnesota, set to make his second start of the summer for the Harbor Hawks, and he's taken on the guy who, well, might be the best pitcher on the Cape League up to this point. That's Florida International's Logan Allen, his third and what will likely be final appearance here with the Mariners Ball Club before he heads out to Team USA later this week. And we'll see what he has in store for us here on this Sunday afternoon. It's the Harbor Hawks and the Mariners on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. And with that, we welcome you in. Lyle Goldstein, Brendan Howe here with you, and we thank you so much for joining us here for this first game of the doubleheader. And Brendan, we talked about it a bit in the open, but let's kind of glaze over a bit again. 2 games in the last week. Maybe the craziest week of weather the Cape League has seen in the last decade is what some people are saying. And honestly, it can't be too far off.
No, not at all. And what a week it was. You're absolutely right with the weather. It was absolutely craziness here. And I know yesterday we made the drive out to Bourne only for that game to be canceled a bit later on once we arrived. But 2 games in the last full week, like you mentioned, and not a lot of runs for these Harbor Hawks. So I'm guessing that these guys are raring to go today to try and get these bats swinging.
If you really want to know how crazy, we'll recap you. The Harbor Hawks played Monday here against Brewster. They played Wednesday against Orleans. Those 2 games counted. Tuesday was canceled. But let's just even look at the back end of this week. Thursday, they came here against Falmouth. They played 4 innings against the Commodores, and then things were called due to rain. So that game, which only lasted actually just under 4 innings, will be set to take place again at a later scheduled date, although that game's going to have to start from scratch. So that game is going to be washed away. A new 9 innings of play will be clean slated the next time those 2 square off. Now Friday, they're set to go to Katuitt for a 5 o'clock start. That game gets rained out. And then Saturday, when they're supposed to have a 6 p.m. start in Bourne just last night, you mentioned it, Brendan, get all the way there. Field conditions weren't looking great for most of the day, but you make the trip all the way out there, and then it gets canceled. So no play in the last 3 days for the Harbor Hawks, but finally they're set to play 2 here this afternoon.
Absolutely. And today I think it's going to be a telling day for the Harbor Hawks coming into action tonight because you mentioned 3 days without any play. So and guys were a bit rusty in batting practice. They were shaking off the cobwebs a little bit. But, for the Harbor Hawks come into today winless, 0-7-1. And, we haven't plated a run in a full calendar week. So for these guys to get out here against one of the best pitchers in the Cape League, Logan Allen, it's going to be tough. But you know what? You're going to have to shake it off somehow. And I think these bats are raring to go tonight.
One more time on the Thursday contest against Falmouth. Just under 4 innings played. Falmouth plated 1 in the top of the 4th. Hyannis plated 1 in the bottom of the 4th on a Brooks Carlson double play. But aside from that, the game gets called and nothing further. So Thursday's play was the last time the Harbor Hawks have seen the field. 3 straight canceled games. And now they're set to play 2, although shortened 7-inning games, as those are the official rules of the CCBL doubleheaders, here against the Mariners. Let's transition to what you talked about just a minute ago, Brendan. Logan Allen started today for the Harwich Mariners. Kid who's set to go to Team USA. Has had 2 very potent seasons at Florida International. And he's about as good as it gets up here on the Cape. And that's pretty evident from his first 2 starts.
Absolutely. And, he's already been drafted twice. So this is a kid that is top notch, as high as you can get. He's leaving for Team USA this week, and he throws hard. He throws 97, can mix in a couple good breaking balls, a curve, and a change to be exact. And this is the toughest test this Harbor Hawk lineup will have to face. And for guys that haven't been swinging the bat well, it's going to be a tough matchup. But against Allen today, and then the starter in game 2, who's coming a bit later on this evening, it's going to be tough. But for the Harbor Hawks to get a win today, they're going to have to grind it out.
So far this season, Logan Allen's made 2 starts, 11 innings of work, a 6-inning start, and a 5-inning start. But in those 11 innings pitched, he's given up just 4 hits, walked 1 guy, struck out 17, and has not allowed a run. So he is cruising, to say the least. But he's facing a guy that did nothing but cruise in his freshman year at Minnesota, and that's Patrick Fredrickson. Yes, he had some struggles as a sophomore. He battled some injuries. He's here on the Cape to kind of build up that durability and find his freshman form once again. But we've talked about it in his last start, Brendan, a guy who can be as dominant as ever when he's on and when he's rocking and ready to go. And we'll see what he has in start number 2, because his first time around in his first start, he wasn't bad. He got through the lineup pretty cleanly. And then it was that second time around that kind of came back to haunt him a little bit. It was a little bit like the same of Ben Abram. And that's sometimes what happens with some of these Cape League pitchers. It takes them a start or two to get settled in. It takes them a start or two to get used to the Cape League play, but then they start to really figure it out. And for a guy as talented as Fredrickson, we know it can't be long.
And the line doesn't really tell the full story either, Lyle. He went 3 1/3 in that start, and you mentioned he got through the order a couple of times, and it was really the second time around about midway through when he started to bounce into some trouble. There were a few errors mixed in, gave up 3 earned runs in that start, but today he's going to look to turn it around, had great command of the fastball early in his first outing. We'll see what he has in store today.
Power versus power on the mound. Logan Allen, Patrick Fredrickson, Harbor Hawks, and the Mariners for game 1 of a doubleheader on this Sunday afternoon. We'll take a break for the national anthem and bring you back on the other side of the break for first pitch and lineups on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. We're back at McKeon Park. Hyannis has taken the field. Patrick Fredrickson up on the mound as we're just minutes away from start of inning number 1 in game 1 of a doubleheader on this Sunday afternoon. Fredrickson, the big lengthy right-hander out of the University of Minnesota, set to face a Harwich Mariners lineup that goes as follows. Chris Galland out of Boston College, returning for his second summer with Harwich, leading off and playing left field. He'll be followed by Joey Weimer Jr., the Cincinnati center fielder. And following him, 5 straight lefties. Daniel Cabrera hitting third from LSU. Tyler Keenan doing the cleanup duties out of Ole Miss. Nico Cavadas from the University of Notre Dame hitting fifth and playing first base. Cameron Thompson in the 6th spot, the second baseman out of Kansas State. Michael Ludwig hitting 7th and playing right field from Wake Forest. And then the Harwich switch hitter, Michael Rothenberg, the Duke catcher in the 8th spot, rounding out the 9, right-handed hitting Hal Hughes, the Louisiana State University shortstop. So Fredrickson on the mound getting his warm-up tosses in. And Brendan, what do you think is going to kind of be the biggest key for him today?
I think it's all about location. I think if he can use that fastball to his advantage and paint the inside and outside corners to try and keep this Harwich offense off balance, which hasn't been, too polarizing to say the least in the beginning of the season. They're right down there with Hyannis in terms of offensive production, but the pitching staff has been what's kept them in games today. But Fredrickson's going to have to go toe for toe with Logan Allen.
So Fredrickson, who works directly out of the stretch, gets the sign, sets right at the belt, takes a breath, then rocks and fires. First pitch fastball down and away, and we're underway at McKeon Park. 3:01 first pitch time here on the Harbor, and the count's 1-0 to the leadoff man, Galland. DeSantalo creeping in as Fredrickson fires home. Misses inside this time. The count runs to 2 balls and no strikes. Fredrickson, nice easy motion, again short out of the stretch, and he'll come home. This fastball hits the inside corner. The count goes to 2-1. Galland comes into the day hitting .300. Hasn't hit a home run yet, but 2 RBIs to his name. Jared DeSantalo about a foot or two on infield grass. Now the offering, off speed, right at the bottom of the zone. And unlike the rest of this week on Cape Cod, a beautiful day for baseball. 81 degrees and maybe a couple scattered clouds throughout the sky. Fredrickson ready, the 2-2. Just down low, and it's full. 3-2 to the leadoff man, Galland, here in the top of the first. Fredrickson gets a sign he likes. The leadoff man, Galland, bat rested on the shoulder. Full count pitch, outside, ball 4. So Fredrickson walks the leadoff man, Chris Galland, to put 1 aboard with nobody out. So he's aboard. That'll bring up Joey Weimer Jr. from Cincinnati. Harbor Hawk defense today, left to right in the infield. As I mentioned a minute ago, Jared DeSantalo at third, Nick Lofton at short, Anthony Servideo at second, and Brooks Carlson at first. Same way in the outfield, Trevor Hauver, Bryce Teodosio, and Rigsby Mosley. Now Patrickson the pitch. Down low with a fastball, and it's a ball and no strikes. Adam Hackenberg behind the plate today, catcher out of Clemson. He's gotten off to a nice start here for the Harbor Hawks this summer. Weimer, almost a Craig Counsell-like stance. Bat over his head as Fredrickson throws over. It's wild, gets away from Carlson, but not far enough for the runner to advance. Galland holds on the wild pickoff move. And the count will stay right there at 1-0.
Yeah, you mentioned the stance of Weimer, a bit unorthodox, almost like a Kevin Youkilis kind of way he holds the bat above his head.
So way above that head in the red helmets. Pitch from Fredrickson, breaking ball, checks his swing. Appeal down to first, and he does go around, according to first base umpire Jeff Merzel. But Youkilis is one comparison, like Brendan said, almost like a right-handed hitting Craig Counsell. His stance looked pretty similar to that of Weimer's. Joey, one of 3 right-handed hitters in the Harwich lineup tonight. Fredrickson takes a pause, now delivers a hit and run, but it's fouled off the foot of Weimer inside the box. Hyannis today, their home white jerseys with the blue pinstripes, orange lettering and numbering, as well as blue Hyannis caps with the orange H up on the bill. Harwich, meanwhile, navy blue jerseys, gray pants with a blue trim, and red lettering and numbering with red helmets. Fredrickson's 1-2, line drive over the glove of Carlson and into right field down the lot. Around second, heading to third is Galland. He'll get there easily. Weimer will stand up at second as the throw is cut off, and Harwich has 2 runners in scoring position to lead off the first.
Well, we talked about location of that fastball from Fredrickson. That time left it out over the middle of the plate. Weimer extending the head of the bat out and poking it down the right field line, and immediately getting 2 runners in scoring position for Harwich.
So Patrick Fredrickson, who has the ability to be as overpowering as anybody at times, has allowed the first 2 base runners to reach for Harwich in the top of the first. That brings up Daniel Cabrera from LSU. He watches an off-speed pitch low and away. Fredrickson, a 3-pitch guy. Fastball, curveball, changeup. And that changeup was developed more in college than it was in high school. Patrick takes a breath, now fires home. Swing and a pop-up foul, out of play, left side. So more of a 2-pitch guy's high school days, where he played at Gig Harbor in Gig Harbor, Washington. But developed that 3rd pitch in his time in Minneapolis. And in his freshman year, it turned him into one of the most overpowering pitchers in the country. 1-1. Good fastball, but misses just low. That fastball for Patrick Fredrickson sits in about the mid-90s. As he hides the ball behind his back leg as of now, he'll come set. Infield playing back. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Cabrera chases out in front of an off-speed pitch to level up the count. For Cabrera, out of the DH spot tonight, an outfielder by trade. And one of the most aggressive bats in the LSU lineup at school. Fouls one straight back. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody out. Still 0-0 in the bottom of the first. Or the top of the first, rather, but both Harwich runners have reached so far. Chris Gallen walk and a Joey Weimer Jr. double. Meanwhile, for Cabrera, he's out for his first 4, so this is 2nd game on the Cape. The offering fouled inside the batter's box, just getting a piece of it. In his 2019 campaign, Cabrera hit .286, but he slugged 12 home runs, 49 runs batted in as well. The sun basking down here at McKeon Park as Fredrickson gets his sign and comes home. Breaking ball popped up left side, hooking out of play, and it gets over the Hyannis dugout and off the netting. So DeSantolo gave it a look, moving to his right, but ran out of real estate and just had to look up and watch it hit off that screen. So Cabrera coming off another huge season for the LSU Tigers, looking to make an impact here on the top of the first for Harwich. 2-2. Fouled away again. He's putting together quite an impressive at-bat.
Yeah, Fredrickson's trying to sneak a couple of backdoor breaking balls by him, but Cabrera doing a nice job fending him off.
So Daniel Cabrera steps out of the box to take a practice swing or two. Now he gets back in. Fredrickson gives him a long look. Cabrera flips the bat out of the mound ever so slightly. Now into his stance. The offering, foul tipped right in front of the glove of Hackenberg. Long at bat for the LSU outfielder. Fredrickson looking for that put out pitch. Outfield about normal depth. Trevor Hauver maybe a few steps back in left field. Teodosio playing fairly in center. The offering misses up high. Another full count. He lost Chris Gallen on one to lead off the ball game, and he's got one here to the number 3 man, Daniel Cabrera. Slight wind here at McKeon, blowing out toward right center. The pitch. Line drive down the right field line. That's going to get down and one hop the wall. Gallen scores. Right behind him, Weimer Jr. taking a turn at second, stopping right there, Daniel Cabrera. And the Harwich Mariners strike first here at McKeon Park. 2-0 in the top of the first.
Well, certainly not the best start for Fredrickson as another one down the right field line, this time off the bat of Cabrera. Turning an inside-out swing down the right field line, and Mosley did a nice job getting after it to hold him at 2 as that one was headed down to the corner. But Fredrickson struggling to locate that fastball that we talked about was so good in outing number 1.
So up comes Tyler Keenan, second left-handed batter that Fredrickson will face. Just a runner on second. Lofton creeping in on him a little bit, playing up the middle. First pitch fastball misses downstairs. Fredrickson comes off a 2019 campaign where he made 11 starts and 15 appearances. 48 in a third innings compared to the 97 that he threw as a freshman. He rocks and fires. Fastball high and in. That brushes the hitter Keenan off the plate a bit. Time called as Chad Gassman's going to make his way out to the mound. And it looked like he gave the hand signal to Adam Hackenberg to just stay put, but Adam's going to walk out there anyway, so they're going to have a quick conference. For Keenan, hails from Ole Miss, hitting .222 coming into today. He has one home run. Harwich as a team has hit just 3. He has 1. Weimer has 1. And they're both in the lineup today. Chad Gassman looks like he's got a few colorful words for this umpire. That's Mark Chamberlain. Now they're really getting into it. And here we go. He's getting fired up, and now they're going to toss him. So top of the first inning, Chad Gassman gets the hook, and he'll hit the showers. And now he is really, really fired up, Brendan.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's fired up about, but he is storming his way off the field and now getting a bit of a soft applause from the Hyannis faithful here.
Yeah, and he didn't seem too happy about Mark Chamberlain's strike zone. That's the home plate umpire, so he let him have an earful. Then he let both the base umpires, Jeff Merzel and Mark Delaney, get his 2 cents as well. And now Merzel, the first base umpire, is going to call time. And he's still got words for Gassman, who's picking up his bag inside the dugout. He's chirping back, screaming some stuff at him. And now he's kind of inching back toward the field to exchange some more words.
Yeah, Chad Gassman not very happy as he's now flashing the lineup card in the face of third base umpire Mark Delaney, who's over there trying to calm Chad down and get him off the premises here. He has been tossed.
He's telling him, do your job. That's the piece that we can hear from up here. There's a little more to go along with it. He almost looks like he has a smile on his face as he's walking away, Brendan.
Yeah, he's taking a strut up the hill toward his car, and he's out of here now, but Fredrickson was just staring at him, bewildered on the mound. Strike zone's been a bit tight, but in the top of the first inning, I'm not quite sure that was called for, but nonetheless, Gassman's out of here.
So now we're set to resume play. 2-0 to the hitter, Keenan. He watches one down.
Well, Gassman might have a point there. That one looks pretty good. I mean, it could have been a bit down considerably, but located pretty well. Hackenberg tried to give Fredrickson the frame.
As a result, he's at 3-0. He takes a breath and fires home from the stretch. That's inside ball 4. So he walks Keenan on 4 pitches. That puts runners on first and second. The first 4 Harwich hitters have all reached base. And that'll be Nico Cavadas from Notre Dame. So not an ideal start to the top of the first for Hyannis. Although it's only been 2 runs that have put on the board, so Fredrickson still has a chance to minimize harm. Another lefty, this is Cavadas. Fredrickson checks the runner at second, now comes home. Fastball low and outside. So quite the agenda we've had in the first inning. A Gallen walk, a Weimer double, a Cabrera double, and then Chad Gassman, the Hyannis manager, gets tossed. As that's a swing and a foul from the hitter Cavadas. Count evens at a ball and a strike. So Fredrickson's still in search of that first out. He stares down the hitter Cavadas. And he sets right at the belt again, working from the first base side of the rubber. Gives the runner a couple of looks, comes home, swing and a miss. Good change up there from the right-hander to put the count at 1-2. Cavadas comes into today hitting just under 260. 4 RBIs. And he's got an opportunity here with 2 aboard. Cabrera at second, Keenan at first. The 1-2. Swinging a fly ball, fairly deep left field. Backtracking Hauver. He's at the track looking up, and it's off the top of the wall. It takes a hop, rather, off the top of that wall. Now getting the stop sign at third base. That'll be Cabrera stopping right there. And how about that? A long 320-plus foot single for the first baseman, Nico Cavadas. Nobody scores on the play, and that loads the bases.
It's a Fenway Park style single right there off the wall in left field. Hauver was chased back to the warning track and doing a nice job of catching that one on the carom and firing it back in and holding all three runners at their respective bags.
So a good relay from Hauver. The runner at second, Daniel Cabrera, had to wait for the ball to drop, and due to the good relay, he only advanced 90 feet. Now it's Cam Thompson, swings at the first pitch, grounds one back to the mound. Fredrickson fires home. Hackenberg to first. Double play. 1, 2, 3 go the Harbor Hawks. Fredrickson to Hackenberg at home. Hackenberg to Carlson at first. And 2 are erased in the top of the first.
Now that's a big one right there. Good reflexes from Fredrickson to field the tapper off the mound, have the presence of mind to come home to Hackenberg, and a strong throw from the catcher down to Carlson at first.
So now it's Michael Ludwig. He's playing right field today for Harwich, but the Mariners have runners on second and third. Fredrickson's offering. First pitch called, strike on the outside corner. So maybe that double play was just what Fredrickson needed to jumpstart his afternoon. He's got an 0-1 count. Still working out of the stretch. He'll deliver home. Ground ball up the middle to his left. Lofton fields it on a couple hops, throws across, inning over. So Patrick Fredrickson gives a small fist pump as he walks off the mound, and he limits damage here in the top of the first. First 5 Harwich runners reach base, but a 1-2-3 double play and a Michael Ludwig ground out to short minimizes damage in the top of the first. It's Harwich 2, Hyannis nothing. We'll be back for the bottom of the first when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Just moments away from the bottom of the first here at McKeon Park, and after eventful top half of the frame, it included Hyannis manager Chad Gassman getting the hook from home plate umpire Mark Chamberlain. The Hawks are set to come to bat. Their lineup goes like this against the left-hander Logan Allen. Anthony Servideo leading off. He'll be followed by Nick Lofton, Trevor Hauver, Hunter Goodman with 2 home runs on the year doing the cleanup duties. Brooks Carlson hitting 5th, Rigsby Mosley in the 6th spot. And the final third of the order, Adam Hackenberg, Jared DeSantolo, and Bryce Teodosio. So Logan Allen, just about as good as it gets up here on the elbow of Massachusetts this summer. Toes the slab for his 3rd start with the Harwich Mariners. A 3-pitch guy, fastball that can get as high as 97 miles an hour. We'll also mix in a changeup and a curve. The lefty winds and fires to Servideo, heater right down Broadway for strike 1. Servideo still in search of his first Harbor Hawk hit. 0 for his first 7. As Allen winds and deals, breaking ball in the dirt. Allen with that glove tucked into his shoulder. Now he comes set and fires home. Breaking ball, that's down, and it's 2 balls and a strike. His resume so far with Harwich, one more time, 2 starts so far, 11 innings of work, 17 strikeouts, no runs, 1 walk, and just 4 hits allowed. Pitch to Servideo, that misses up the ladder, and it's 3-1. Servideo comes off a strong season at Ole Miss where he hit 286. And the 3-1, down low, ball 4. So there's a bit of a surprise. Logan Allen, first batter of the afternoon, issues just his 5th walk. And Servideo aboard to bring up Nick Lofton with nobody down in the bottom of the 1st.
Yeah, that was a self-doing by Allen there. Just missed with a couple fastballs down, and Servideo didn't have to battle in that at bat much. Took a look at his strike, but other than that, 4 pitches now for Lofton.
That was his 2nd walk, as he fires home to Lofton, shows bunt, pulls back. So that 1 walk he allowed came in his first 11 innings of work. So he's a guy that stays around the zone, already overpowering as he is. So first batter of the game, he loses Servideo on 5 pitches. Not like him. The stretch and fires home to Lofton, pops it right up the elevator shaft behind home plate. Giving a look, the catcher, Rothenberg, he can't make the play. Tried to backhand it, moving back and a little bit to his right, but maybe lost it in the sun a little bit, and the ball dropped in front of him.
Yeah, he was trying to shade his eyes from the sun that time with the big catcher's mitt, but those are always tough plays when you have to lose the mask in foul ground, and Rothenberg just couldn't come up with it.
So Allen will come set. He's right at the belt, fires to Lofton, swings and pops one into very shallow left field. No, it's right on the infield. Moving over to his right and just a bit back on the lip. Hughes, and he'll make the catch. So Lofton skies one into the shortest part of left field you can find. Hughes had to move a little bit back into his right, found his way onto the outfield grass, and made the grab. The Harwich defense today, from left to right in the outfield, Chris Gallen, Joey Weimer Jr., as well as Michael Ludwig. In the same way in the infield, Keenan, Hughes, Thompson, and Cavadas. Pitch to Hauver, the number 3 hitter. Takes it for a called strike on a breaking ball. One more time the battery, Rothenberg behind the plate, and Florida International's Logan Allen up on the mound. Throws over to first, Servideo back standing up. So once again, Logan Allen allowed just 1 walk coming into today's start, but he does just that in his first at-bat against Servideo. Throws over again, and same thing, Anthony back standing up. We've talked about it before. Fair reason to keep a tab on Servideo when he's on the base paths. 23 stolen bases in 2019. That ranked 2nd in the SEC. He's got some speed on the base paths, as now he's got a pretty fair lead. Allen gives him a look and fires home as Hauver spoils one foul left side. Oh, 0-2 the count. 2-0 Harwich, the score in the bottom of the 1st. Trevor hitting .238 coming into today. He represents one of 4 Hyannis left-handed hitters against the southpaw Allen. He comes set and fires. Down low with a breaking ball in the dirt, chested up by Rothenberg. So Allen, 84 innings pitched in 2019. 3.11 ERA. 120 strikeouts to his name. Servideo takes off with the pitch. Trevor fouls it straight back off the screen. So a good jump by Anthony Servideo, but Trevor Hauver with the 2-strike count having to stay alive. And the Ole Miss product just trots back to first. Just about even with the bag at third is Keenan. The middle infielder shaded towards second base, so a pretty big hole on the right side for Hauver. The offering from Allen. Pop up and over the screen, foul behind home plate.
And the last couple of pitches from Allen tried to come into Hauver. That time a fastball in on the hands of the Sun Devil, just able to spoil it up and over the netting here at McKeon Park.
1-2 the count. Allen in search of his first strikeout. The offering down low, gets through the wickets of Rothenberg, and Servideo will cruise 90 feet to second base. So that makes it 2-2 to Trevor Hopper, who adjusts the batting glove just outside the left-handed batter's box. So Hyannis with a run in scoring position. Hopper, who waves the bat out toward Allen once or twice, now pinwheels it into his stance with some bent knees in the box. Pitch from Allen, outside, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Hyannis scored that run in the bottom of the 4th against Falmouth, although it's washed away as it doesn't end up counting. So as a result, they're still at 19 innings without a run scored. But Servideo standing at second, and now the payoff to Hopper. Broken back ground ball left side, moving quickly to his right. Hughes, he tries to make the throw, can't do so. Just pump fakes toward first, keeps it in his hand, and Servideo moves up to third. Trevor Hopper on base at first with an infield single.
Any way you can do it. Hopper busting down the line that time. Allen came inside again with another fastball. Hopper breaking his bat as a result, but he ends up on base, and it's now men on the corners here for Hunter Goodman, who's making his return to the lineup. Hyannis with a good chance to try and strike back.
So they've got some life in the bottom of the 1st against Logan Allen. That's the first Harbor Hawk hit of the day as Goodman swings and pops one foul with the first pitch. Logan Allen, who has not allowed a single run on Cape Cod this summer, is 90 feet away from surrendering one. The stretch and the 0-1. Goodman jackknifed a little bit in the right side of the box, and it's 1-1. Hunter has 2 home runs. Comes into the day hitting 200, but he represents half of the Harbor Hawks' long balls so far. The offering, line drive down the left field line, just foul. Got a little bit out in front of it, still hit it pretty hard, but just a little bit left of that chalk.
And Goodman came within inches of driving in Anthony Servideo, who stands down there at third. Tough one on an inside fastball. You mentioned it getting out in front.
1-2 the count. Allen staring down Hopper at first, now delivers home. Swing and a miss. Paints a fastball right at the letters. Goodman comes up, empty, swinging away. And Logan Allen has his first strikeout of the afternoon, 2'd out in the bottom of the 1st.
Now, you talked a little bit about it in the pregame show, Lyle. Power versus power on the mound. That right there from Logan Allen was that power fastball. We mentioned can dial it up to about 97, and that looked all of 97 miles an hour.
So now Brooks Carlson comes up to the plate. Watches the fastball high, but right at the letters for strike 1. So Carlson's just got to stand back in the box. He wiggles the bat above his right shoulder. Now the pitch. Breaking ball, that misses away. So Brooks was the man at the plate when the Harbor Hawks scored their run. He hit into a double play, but it did score a run from third, although it's now, of course, been washed away. Now the offering. Strike 2, fastball on the inside corner. Allen is just pinpointing that heater after he gave up the walk to Servideo and the infield single to Hopper. Got Goodman with it. Now he's at a 1-2 count with 2 down. The offering on the inside corner, strike 3. Logan Allen gets Carlson looking to end the bottom of the 1st and get himself out of a jam. The FIU left-hander gives up a leadoff walk, an infield single, but nothing further. It's 2-0 Harwich through an inning of play. For the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 1st, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. We'll go to the top of the 2nd when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. 7 Harwich hitters came to the plate in the top of the first against Patrick Fredrickson. And as we bring you back for the top of the second, it's the number 8 man, switch hitting catcher Michael Rothenberg from the left side. As he digs in, Fredrickson comes set and delivers. First pitch, hard ground ball, foul down the right field line. Rothenberg had a chance to put a ball away in the bottom of the first when a ball was popped up right over his head at the catcher's position, but just couldn't quite flag it down in time. It's one of those tough plays having to go behind you. The 0-1, breaking ball fouled away on the ground. Harwich already with 2 runs coming in the top of the first. They had 5 straight hitters reach base to begin the outing. Then that 1-2-3 double play and the ground out to short kind of got Hyannis out of any further damage. Fredrickson with an 0-2 count. Kicks and delivers. Clips the outside corner, strike 3 call. Patrick Fredrickson with his first strikeout of the afternoon, and he fans Michael Rothenberg to begin the top of the second.
And this time it's Fredrickson picking up a strikeout and getting the benefit of the doubt from home plate umpire Mark Chamberlain. It's been a tough strike zone as we saw Chad Gassman make his presence felt earlier on in the ball game being tossed, but that was a good spot with a fastball right there from Fredrickson to pick up the strikeout to lead off the inning.
So now it's the number 9 hitter Hal Hughes out of LSU. He watches one high and away with a fastball. Fredrickson works and comes back. Ground ball out to second. Servideo fields it moving to his left. Quick flip over to first, and there's 2 down.
Pretty routine ground ball there. Servideo that time took a little bit of a weird hop off the lip of the grass, but not enough to alter the path of Servideo to that baseball and flips over to first in time.
So after the go for Fredrickson, retires the LSU Tiger Hughes. He's set to face the Boston College Eagle Chris Gallen for at bat number 2. 2 quick outs for the Harbor Hawks in the second, and the first offering called strike on a fastball. Fredrickson seems to be pretty locked in here in the top of the second frame after an up and down start against this Mariner ball club in the top of the first. Wind blowing off his jersey as he fires home. Swing and a high pop up shallow left field. Hover coming in toward the line. He's got a beat on it, and he makes the grab. In the blink of an eye, 1-2-3 go the Mariners in the top of the second as Patrick Fredrickson puts together a very clean half inning of work. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We'll go to the bottom of the second on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. It'll be the Troy outfielder Rigsby Mosley, who kicks some dirt in the left side of the box and is set to lead off the bottom of the second as the Harbor Hawks look to get anything going off the FIU left-hander Logan Allen. First pitch, swing and a miss at the top of the zone from Mosley. So Logan Allen, who allowed base runners to reach, 2 of his first 3 hitters faced in the bottom of the first as that fastball's painted on the outside corner to move the count to 0-2. Struck out back-to-back hitters to end the bottom of the frame. Got Goodman swinging and Carlson looking. Pitch to Mosley, fastball runs outside. Rigsby has a home run to his name. although hitting at just 150 at this point in the season. The 1-2, swinging a high, towering pop-up over the light post and out of play down the right field line. So Allen gets a new baseball, quickly working back on the mound. 1-2 offering, swinging a foul tip back into the glove. Mosley strikes out to begin the bottom of the second and make it 3 straight punch-outs for Logan Allen.
Yeah, Allen's looking really good now, and that fastball's his money pitch, and boy, has he been using it to his advantage thus far this afternoon. Pinpoint location.
So now it's Adam Hackenberg. Allen, like clockwork, fires home, swing and a miss. So like we talked about, Brennan, already some antics here at McKeon Park through the first inning and a half of the game, as Allen stares over the glove and fires home, swing and a miss. But Chad Gassman ejected in the top of the first inning, and he had some colorful words for all 3 umpires manning today's game. So Allen gets his sign from the catcher, Rothenberg. He comes home, swinging a ground ball foul. So that's his first ejection of the season. But not sure if it can quite top one specific one he had last year against Orleans. As Hackenberg puts up his hand, asking for time from the home plate umpire, Mark Chamberlain, but now Allen ready to go. 1-2, swing and a miss at the top of the zone. Hard fastball from Logan Allen as he retires Adam Hackenberg in the bottom of the second inning. Make it 4 straight strikeouts for the FIU left-hander.
And he's just rolling through this Harbor Hawk lineup right now as we head toward DeSantolo and Teodosio, the bottom part of the order, before getting back to Servideo, who was the one that got him first, drew a walk to lead off the ball game.
So DeSantolo, the hitter from the left side. Allen fires a fastball high. It's 1-0. So we'll get more on that Chad Gassman story later in the ball game. But DeSantolo steps out of the box, puts his left hand to his helmet, and now digs back in. Finds himself with a 1-0 count. Allen ready and fires home. DeSantolo swings away, pops one into shallow left center, converging Weimer Jr. and Galland. It'll be Galland to make the play, and that ends the inning. So Patrick Fredrickson goes 1-2-3 in the top of the second. Logan Allen goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. A pair of swinging strikeouts and a DeSantolo fly out to left is what ends the Harbor Hawks' second inning. 2-0 Harwich here at McKeon Park through 2 innings of play. We'll come back for the top of the third when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Two, 3-4 up for Harwich in the top of the third as the Mariners lead 2-0 over the hometown Harbor Hawks with Patrick Fredrickson, the Minnesota right-hander, back on the mound for the Hyannis Ball Club, set to face Joey Weimer Jr., who's fresh off a double and a run scored in the top of the first. Fredrickson from the stretch fires home, first pitch curveball, strike 1. DeSantolo still playing a step in on that infield grass, the rest of the Hyannis infield straight up. Patrick gets the sign, now sets at the belt, fires home, fastball inside, and the count levels. So Fredrickson starting to find a little more command now. Of course, to Chad Gassman's perception, he always had it from pitch 1 of this ball game, and that's evidently the reason he's no longer here. Fredrickson offers and a swing and a line drive into center field, base hit. Theodosio up with the ball, gets it back into Lofton on the cutoff. That's a leadoff single for Joey Weimer Jr., making it a 2 for 2 day.
Smooth stroke from Weimer Jr. coming into the ball game today. Had a double back in the first inning and now a single here in the third. He's really swinging it well, finding himself on base a couple times in just as many plate appearances.
So now it's Daniel Cabrera, left-handed hitting LSU Tiger. Fredrickson, who's been in the stretch for every pitch so far this ball game, will stay right there. He peeks at the runner Weimer at first and throws over that way. So as we were just talking about for a minute, Brendan, the reason Gassman no longer here, unhappy with the Mark Chamberlain strike zone, and he let him have it before he was eventually tossed and made his way toward the parking lot in the top of the first. Fredrickson checks the runner. And now he'll come home. Fastball called strike. So that's his first ejection of the season, but believe it or not, Brendan, for him, I would call the way he took it and reacted to it one of the more even-tempered Chad Gassman ejections you'll see.
Interestingly enough, I mean, he was hot out there on the field as Fredrickson throws back over to first. You were here last year. I wasn't, so I didn't get to see the ejection in Orleans, but he looked pretty, had some colorful language, definitely for sure.
So Fredrickson with an 0-1 count. Wind still blowing off his back a bit. He'll fire home. Called strike, and it's 0-2 to the hitter Daniel Cabrera. But that ejection, it was against Orleans. It was here at McKeon Park, but against the Firebirds, where the Harvard Hawks ended up winning a come-from-behind game by a score of 11-9. Fredrickson comes set. Likes the sign from Hackenberg, now fires home. Swinging a line drive, hooking foul down the left field line and toward the Hyannis bullpen. A couple of the guys waking up a little bit down there and jumping out of the way. But that ejection sparked him a little bit, Brendan, and I'll get into some more details in just a minute here, but Hyannis is a team that still looking for their first win. Maybe Chad Gassman doing that as a little bit of a sign to motivate these guys and kind of find a way to win any way he can. Fredrickson comes home. Fastball outside. 1-2 to the hitter Cabrera.
And today's ejection he was giving Mark Chamberlain, the home plate umpire, an earful about the strike zone, pointing at Fredrickson when he was out there and saying, this is one of the best pitchers in the country, be better.
And he is. I mean, Fredrickson battled some injuries as a sophomore, but people saw what he did as his freshman year. Runner takes off, fires home, throw from Hackenberg down to second, and it takes Lofton back towards shortstop, so sliding in safely, Joey Weimer Jr. So a missile from Hackenberg down to second, threw it from his knees, but took Lofton a little bit back to his right and toward his original position at shortstop, so didn't have a chance to place a tag. Weimer's now put in scoring position, and it's a 2-2 count as that pitch was low in the dirt to the hitter Cabrera. Fresh off an RBI double, his first hit on the Cape this summer. 2-2 from Fredrickson. Ground ball foul up the first baseline. So again, Fredrickson, he had all the accolades in the world as a freshman. So Chad Gassman has a point. He's absolutely right. When he's on, he is one of the best pitchers in the country. He was the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year and Freshman of the Year. He was named a Rawlings First-Team All-American as a freshman in 2018. He put up a sub-2 ERA. Now the offering skips out in front of Hackenberg at the plate, stealing third, no problem. Joey Weimer Jr. as he gets in standing up. So an off-speed from Fredrickson took Hackenberg a little bit to his right. He kept it in front, but it skipped way out in front of home plate and toward the infield grass. And Joey Weimer reading that ball down angle. Swipe third with no issues. That makes it a full count to Cabrera. Harwich with a runner 90 feet away from extending the lead. It's 2-0 in the top of the third. The stretch and the delivery. Swing and a looping fly ball into short left field. Hover coming in. It drops in front of him. Weimer cruises home. He steps on the plate. And an opposite field RBI single for Daniel Cabrera makes it 3-0 Harwich.
Yeah, not sure if Cabrera could have placed that one any better if he ran out there with the ball in his hand himself. He poked that one into shallow left, like you mentioned, right in front of Hover, dumping it in front. DeSantolo was racing back onto the grass, thinking he might have a play, but to no avail. And an RBI single for Daniel Cabrera.
He's responsible for 2 of the 3 runs for Harwich today. He had the RBI double in the first, And now the Texas League RBI single the opposite way in the third. So Tyler Keenan's the hitter. Fredrickson fires home. It's a fastball outside. Keenan was the hitter at the plate when Gassman got ejected. So Brendan, let me just kind of fill you in on the story as we've been kind of previewing it the last inning or half inning or so. As Fredrickson checks the runner at first. He comes set, takes a breath, and he delivers home. Fastball for a called strike. So last year, right here at McKeon Park against these Firebirds, Chad Gassman looked like he was having some calm words with the home plate umpire. But as the conversation went on, it got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then he just absolutely let loose. As Fredrickson comes set and lets loose the next offering, it's down low for ball 2. So obviously he gets the hook. He gets thrown out of the game, and he is just not having it. Whether he was trying to fire up his team or he was really, really frustrated with an umpire is only something he knows. As Fredrickson checks the runner, puts the glove at the belt, and he'll fire home. Swing and a high fly ball, deep right center field. Back goes Mosley. He's looking up, and it's off the top of the wall. Skips way behind Teodosio, getting the stop sign at third. The runner Cabrera, and stopping at second is Tyler Keenan, reaching base for the second time today, picking up a double in the top of the third. So that puts 2 Harwich runners in scoring position. Keenan missing a long ball by just a matter of inches. That got off the blue padding on the top of the fence in right center. Both Teodosio and Mosley converging in the gap, watching it like they thought it was going to leave the yard, but that blue padding just saving it and keeping it within the confines. So runners on second and third for Nico Cavadas out of Notre Dame. Fredrickson checks the runners. Now he'll come home. Fastball for a called strike at the letter. So back to the ejection. He gets the hook. He goes back to the dugout, Brendan. And it looks like he's about to pick something up. And in fact, he does. He picks up a bucket of baseballs as Fredrickson gets ready and he comes set. 0-1 down in the dirt and the count evens up. Picks up the bucket of baseballs and he starts taking some out one by one and chucking them around the baseball field. I mean, he threw a couple toward home plate. He threw a couple toward third base. He threw a couple out toward shortstop. I mean, it was the loudest ejection I think I've ever witnessed as Fredrickson's 1-1 is skied into right field. Mosley moving a couple of feet back and to his right. It's still taking him back at the track, and he can't make the play. It's over his head. Cabrera comes home to score, moving up 90 feet, Tyler Keenan, and standing up at second is Nico Cavadas. So that was a lazy fly ball that just kept carrying. Mosley playing back in right field, was backpedaling toward the track a bit, moving to his right, thought he had a chance to settle under it, but that wind kept taking it back, and it dropped just over his head and off the bottom of the wall. So that scores a run. It makes it 4-0 Harwich, and the Mariners still have runners on second and third. So Cam Thompson, the hitter. Fredrickson fires home. It's up high.
And Lyle, how about this for a stat for you? Through the first 5 hitters in the Mariners order today, 10 at-bats combined for the 5 of them. They've reached base 9 times. The 1 out came in the second inning to the leadoff man, Chris Gowan. Other than that, everyone in the top 5's reached base.
Swing at the next pitch and lines one into right. Rigsby Mosley coming in, makes the catch head level. He throws at the cutoff man, Servideo, but cruising home from third on the tag will be the runner, Tyler Keenan. It's a sacrifice fly for Cam Thompson in the top of the third, and it's 5-0 Harwich.
Yeah, again, some good contact from Thompson, driving it out to Mosley. Didn't have to go back on this one, instead coming in, but fires it to Servideo, the cutoff man instead. Thought against trying to get Keenan at the plate.
So runner on second. That's Nico Cavadas, the only man still standing at base. 3 have come across this inning. And the hitter, Michael Ludwig, swings away, lines one foul left side, and it gets out of play. So at least as of right now, the Chad Gassman ejection today not having quite the impact for the Harbor Hawks, at least as of yet, that it did last season against Orleans. Fredrickson's ready. He fires home up high. But again, a loud ejection to say the least, Brendan, back in Orleans. Like I said, maybe the craziest one I've ever seen. And people were tweeting about it too. A couple of the Cape Cod baseball accounts were tweeting what had happened with the ejection. I guess people were here at the game to see it themselves. As Fredrickson comes home, it's a swing and a high fly ball, deep center field. Teodosio backtracking. He's at the track, leaps and makes the grab. Tagging back to second base, the runner Nico Cavadas. But how about Bryce Teodosio? A fly ball that kept carrying, taking him back into his left, all the way at the track, timed the jump perfectly, and comes down with the baseball just short of the wall.
And there's that defense we talked about, one of the top-ranked center fielders defensively in the ACC for Clemson. And there it is right there, flashing the leather, going back toward that 394 mark on the center field fence. Outstanding grab.
So that puts 2 outs on the board for Hyannis. Now it's Michael Rothenberg. He watches one down in the dirt. So 5-0 the score in the top of the third inning. 6 Harwich hits. As Brendan mentioned, they've all come from the first 5 in the lineup. Fredrickson continues to work from the stretch, gives one look at the runner at second. That's Cavadas. He kicks and fires, swinging a foul back. So still a lot of time for Hyannis to come back in this game. Now, it is only a 7-inning contest, as those are the rules for a doubleheader here. But we'll see if that Chad Gassman ejection can jumpstart the offense a little bit. It sure did that night in Orleans, because they were trailing in that game. They were. And they come back and win 11-9. The 1-1. Swinging a foul off the knee protector of Hackenberg.
And you mentioned Gassman firing that bucket of baseballs onto the field. And, you see these crazy ejections on SportsCenter all the time. But to witness one in person, it puts a different perspective on the game and for the team on the field as well.
Yeah, and his players loved it. I mean, his players were laughing. They were cheering him on, just like kind of how the Hyannis crowd gave him a bit of a round of applause as he exited today. I mean, people, especially his players, they were on their feet last season. Fredrickson's ready, the 1-2. Inside, and the count evens up. But as they won 11-9, it was capped off by a Tommy Jew RBI triple, which eventually gave them the lead back. And that's how they would end it. It was against an Orleans team that didn't make the playoffs last season. They finished just behind the Brewster Whitecaps, missing out on postseason play. 2-2 misses down, and it's a full count. So Hyannis was down against the team in the bottom of the cellar for the Eastern Division back in 2018. Came back to win a ball game to put another 2 points on the board for him, where in 2018 they finished in second place in the Western Division. Just 1 point behind the eventual champion Wareham Gateman. 3-2, line drive into right field, getting in front of Mosley for a base hit. Around third, now getting the breaks there, the runner Cavadas. He'll hold put. The throw back into the cutoff man Carlson toward home plate. Keeps it in front of him. But another base hit for the Mariner Ball Club as they have runners on the corners with 2 down.
Yeah, now they're starting to see the ball well out of Fredrickson's hand that time. Another fastball left over the middle of the plate. Rothenberg doing his job, getting the bat to it and sending it into right field in between Servideo and Carlson.
So now it's Hal Hughes, the number 9 hitter, set for plate appearance number 2 of his afternoon. Fredrickson, runners on the corners. He checks the man at first. That's Rothenberg. Delivers home. Good breaking ball, but just low and away. So a second place finish for Hyannis in 2018. So far, just 1 point on the board due to a tie with Falmouth here in this 2019 summer. Fredrickson's ready, the 1-0, up high, ball 2. And we'll see what the offense can do. Maybe the ejection didn't have an impact right away in that bottom of the first. They haven't put up a run yet today, but as a team that's now at 21 innings without scoring a run, they needed anything to try and jolt them a little bit. And maybe Gassman's ejection can do that. It's fouled back, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Cavada stands at third. He reached on a Rigsby Mosley error, it was ruled, in right field. Rothenberg stands at first after the line drive single through the right side. 7 Harwich hits today as Fredrickson takes a long breath and comes set. The 2-1. Misses down low, ball 3. Patrick's only issued 1 walk today. That came to Tyler Keenan, or what rather, that was 2 walks. The Keenan walk was 1 of 2 in the top of the first. But since then, has kept the ball around the zone. But he's behind here at 3-1. Here comes the delivery. Down low, ball 4. So the go for Patrick Fredrickson gives up his 3rd free pass of the day. As Hal Hughes moves down to first, up to second, Michael Rothenberg, and the bases are loaded for Chris Gallen, making his 3rd at bat in as many frames. This will be his 3rd plate appearance as he walked in the top of the first. He flew out to left in the top of the second. Breaking ball from Fredrickson hits the zone, and it's 0-1. So Fredrickson, a walk issued to the man at the plate, Chris Gallen, to lead off the game. A walk to Keenan. Just a minute ago, a walk to Hughes. 0-1. Good breaking ball. Gallen checks his swing, but no appeal down to first, and it's 1-1. So Chris Gallen, the 9th man to the plate this inning. Mariners have hit around. And Fredrickson, with the bases loaded, still working from the stretch. The 1-1. Another breaking ball that misses low and outside. And Patrick retired the Mariners in order in the top of the second. A Rothenberg looking strikeout, a Hal Hughes ground out to second, and a Chris Gallen fly out to left. Ended that top of the second in the blink of an eye. But so far, both the odd innings, the first and the third, have been just a bit longer. 2-1 is called, a strike on the outside corner with a fastball. And it's deuces wild. 2-2 with 2 down. 5-0 Harwich. The Mariners have the bases loaded. Hackenberg gives Patrick Fredrickson the sign. He likes it. 2-2. Swing and a foul tap behind Hackenberg behind the plate, and this at bat will stay alive. Gallen will readjust the Velcro on his batting gloves. Steps back into the box. And he taps the chalk inside the box just in front of the plate once, back into his stance. Slightly open, feet just about shoulder width apart. Now Fredrickson's delivery. Down low, and it's a full count.
Yeah, Fredrickson struggling with the command a little bit. You mentioned just a couple of walks, both of them coming back in the first inning. He's done a nice job keeping the ball around the zone, but 1 pitch away from surrendering his 3rd of his outing this evening.
The runners will be taking off with the pitch. Here it comes. Swing and a ground ball up the middle. Lofton to his left, fields at glove side. Throws hard to first. Just in time. Gallen nabbed out at first. He jumps in the air in frustration, but that ends the top of the third. The bases are left loaded here for the Mariners as Nick Lofton makes a nice play, ranging to his left, fields it out in front of him, throws it on the run across the diamond, and it keeps the Harwich lead at 5. But Harwich, an additional trio of runs coming across in the top of the third. They lead it 5-0 over Hyannis. We'll be back for the bottom of the third frame when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. After Logan Allen had quite some time to do whatever extracurriculars he needed in the top of the third where Harwich sent 9 men to the plate. He's finally back on the mound here for the bottom of the third as his first pitch to Clemson outfielder Bryce Teodosio is good for a strike on the outside corner. So Allen, a long wait in the dugout. 9 men coming to the plate with 3 coming across for Harwich as he delivers a fastball that runs just a bit off the zone. He stranded 2 in the first inning for Hyannis, but otherwise a second inning that was clean as can be. This time a breaking ball, good break to it, and it drops into the zone for strike 2. He's given up 1 hit on the Trevor Hauver infield single to the left side. Since then, he's retired 5 straight hitters, 4 of them on strikeouts. The 1-2, swing and a number out toward the second baseman Thompson, charging infield, fires to first, and it's just in time to get Teodosio. So Bryce with some good speed down the line, but Thompson charging into the infield grass made the play out in front, and just a quick flip over to the first baseman Cavadas to set down the number 9 Harbor Hawk hitter. 4-3 put out as it flips the lineup back to the top end Servideo. But Logan Allen absolutely cruising. He kicks and deals. Breaking ball drops in at the knees for a strike. Servideo was one of the 2 guys to reach base so far. He walked, advanced to second on a pass ball, and stood at third after the Hauver infield single. That fastball pins him off the plate a bit, and it's 1-1. But Logan Allen, that hard face fastball and sharp curveball in his repertoire. This time the breaking ball just misses a bit above the letters, and it's 2-1. Allen, what is likely his last start with the Mariners before leaving the Cape to join Team USA, misses high and inside with a fastball. So within the coming days, he'll be traveling down to North Carolina and practicing with a handful of 25 or so other players that have also been invited to join. Servideo chops one foul out in front of the plate. And he deserves it. Logan Allen named to the Golden Spikes Award midseason watch list this season. His accolades go on and on and on. He comes set, gazes over the glove, fires home, and it's inside ball 4. So how about that? 2 walks on the afternoon, both coming to Anthony Servideo. And it's already doubled his total that he had coming into today's start. So Servideo stands at first for the second time today, yet to record an official at-bat as he's walked a pair of times. And now it'll be Nick Lofton. So Allen stares down Servideo at first, fires home, a fastball missing way up and outside. But 2019, once again, Logan Allen in that time had 6 different outings with 10 or more strikeouts, had 10 different appearances with 7 or more. As Lofton pops one straight in the air, Rothenberg chasing back, gives a look toward the brick wall, but it sails over the screen and out of play. So he strikes guys out at a pretty absurd rate. If that wasn't evident for the 120 total that he had in 2019. If you dig even further, his strikeout per 9 rate was set at 12.9. Pitch to Lofton, fouled back. So he struck out 12.9 hitters per 9 innings. And that ranked the 3rd highest in Florida international history. The 120 strikeouts, however, ranks 7th all-time on the FIU list for strikeouts in a single season. Allen throws over to first, Servideo back standing up. Today he's already got 4 punch-outs. He had 17 in 11 innings coming into today's start at McKeon Park. And now the 1-2. Breaking ball just missing down low, and the count evens up to the Baylor Bear, Nick Lofton. So Allen staring down Servideo. He takes off with a pitch, swinging a hit and run. It gets through the left side, base hit. Servideo stops at second base. Nick Lofton rounds the bag at first, and he's on board with a 1-out single. Second hit of the day for the Hyannis Ball Club. So a good piece of hitting by Lofton. It was a hit and run. He did the job perfectly, getting it in play and on the ground, but it couldn't have been placed any better. Slapped hard through that 5-6 hole. No play for the shortstop Hughes. No play for the third baseman Keenan. Now it brings up the left-handed hitting Trevor Hauver. He has the other Hyannis hit today, as he broke his bat, slapping an infield single to the left side in the first. Swings away, grounds one to the first baseman, under the glove of Cavadas, and it skips into right field. Around third, Servideo, he's going to cruise home. Lofton up to third, and Trevor Hauver stands up at first, and there's a run on the board for the Harbor Hawks. So Hauver sneaks one under the glove of Cavadas at first base. He didn't quite get down on it enough, and it trickled into right field. And for the first time in just over 21 innings, Hyannis is on the board here in the bottom of the third. Brings up Hunter Goodman. Runner still on the corners. Allen watches one break away. And how about that for Logan Allen? That's the first run he's surrendered so far on the Cape, too. Comes set and fires home. Goodman swings and comes up empty. Gave it a healthy hack, but just couldn't quite get it out in front. So Allen, a guy who'd been as dominant as anybody on the Cape, playing a ball club, still in search of his first win, getting roughed up a little bit here in the bottom of the third as he misses way high with a fastball. It's 2-1. He's missed upstairs with a couple of those so far this inning. So not too like him to not have pinpoint of his command, but here to Goodman. It's 2-1. Now the pitch. Ground ball up the middle, fielded by Thompson, steps on the bag. No, he flips it and drops it. So Thompson fielded it out in front. He flipped to Hughes at the last second covering the bag. He dropped it on the transfer, so Hauver's still out at second base, but Lofton comes home to score. So an RBI fielder's choice for Hunter Goodman puts another Harbor Hawk run on the board. It's 5-2 Harwich in the bottom of the third. I think Hughes thought that Thompson was going to take it himself to the bag. It looked like he was going to by his body motion. He was charging over to his right. He decided to flip it at the last second. Brooks Carlson watches a first pitch fastball outside. He still corralled it in time to nab Hauver, but he couldn't turn that double play. In fact, he didn't even give a throw as he dropped it straight to the ground on the transfer as Goodman stands up at first. Carlson gives a big swing and a miss at the next offering from Allen. It's 1-1. So 2 runs on the board for Hyannis. Pitch to Carlson, swinging a ground ball left side foul. And that's their first multi-run inning since the top of the first in the first game of the doubleheader last week against Brewster out at Stony Brook Field. Or rather, that was the second game. It was basically a 3-game set with the Whitecaps. They lost 11-5 in game 1, 12-4 in game 2, and that was where that 2-run first inning came from. Pitch to Carlson, misses just low and away. So the same game that the Harbor Hawks last scored their last run before this inning. It was also the last time they had a multi-run inning. 2-2. Ground ball fouled behind Carlson and toward the on-deck circle where Rigsby Mosley stands. One on. That's Goodman at first. 5-2 the score. 2 hits on the board for Hyannis. The offering from Allen. Curveball, swing and a miss. 5th strikeout on the afternoon for the FIU left-hander, but Hyannis has 2 runs up on the board in the bottom of the third inning. It's Hyannis 2, Harwich 5, and we'll be back for the top of the 4th when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Joey Wiemer Jr., the Cincinnati center fielder, comes to the plate to begin the top of the fourth inning here at McKeon Park. And the Hyannis coaching staff opts to go to the bullpen. It'll be the right-hander Alex Garbrick out of Moorhead State, set for his second appearance in a Hyannis uniform, and his second time pitching on a Sunday doubleheader as well. The righty stands on the right side of the runner out of the windup and delivers home. Fastball down and away for ball one. So Fredrickson's day ends after 3 innings of work. He gave up that 2 spot in the first inning, a scoreless second, and then 3 runs in the third. Fastball from Garbrick hits the outside corner, and it's a ball and a strike. Garbrick got the start in game 2 of the doubleheader against Brewster as he misses down low with a fastball. But the Harbor Hawks once again dropped that one by a final score of 12-4 in that contest. Garbrick lasted just 2 1/3 innings. Now the offering. Down low, and it's 3-1. He walked 5 in those 2 1/3 innings. Only gave up the 2 hits, 5 runs, 3 were earned, and he struck out 2. Nolan Crisp out of Florida would come in to finish that ball game, as Garbrick's ready with the 3-1. Swing and a chopper toward Lofton at short. He fields it on a couple hops, fires hard to first, and he gets Wiemer in time. So Garbrick fights back from a 3-1 count, induces some soft contact out to the well-gloved Lofton at short, and he makes the play for out number 1. That'll bring up Daniel Cabrera. It'll be his 3rd plate appearance as well. So Fredrickson's day ends after 3 innings. Logan Allen, meanwhile, gave up 2 runs to the Hyannis offense in the bottom of the 3rd. However, they were both unearned. The pitch, down low, and it's ball 1. So that Trevor Hauver ball to first was ruled an error on the first baseman Cavadas. 2 earned runs come in to score. They were still the first 2 runs that Allen's allowed all summer. As that pitch is golfed out to deep right field. Mosley's going back. He's just going to look up. Over the scoreboard goes Daniel Cabrera. It's a solo shot in the top of the 4th. Daniel Cabrera, a 3-hit day in 3 plate appearances. A double in the first, a single in the 3rd, and a solo blast here in the 4th makes it 6-2 Harwich. Cabrera gets some high fives and helmet taps all around from the Harwich dugout on the first base side as he put that one out of sight. Now it'll be Tyler Keenan. Garbrick looks to fight back as he misses high with a fastball. So Garbrick just found a little bit too much of the white part of the plate on that one. And Cabrera, the LSU Tiger, took advantage for his first home run of the summer. The 1-0. Chopped out to Lofton at short. He moves to his left and a bit in. Fields cleanly, throws across after stopping his feet, and there's 2 away. Lofton responsible for both the putouts here in the top of the 4th so far. And now it sends up Nico Cavadas, who had the error that allowed any Harbor Hawk runs to score in the bottom of the 3rd. So once again, Logan Allen. He's allowed his first 2 runs of the summer, but still without an earned run. As the Moorhead State product Garbrick fires home, it's a called strike. Cavadas today 1 for 2. He's reached base twice, single in the first, and an error from Rigsby's Mosley his last time up. He swings away and sends one out to deep center. Teodosio turning his shoulders. He's looking up. He leaps. It's gone! Nico Cavadas goes dead central and punches a solo blast to make it 7-2 Harwich in the top of the 4th. So Cavadas gets all of that one. Sends Teodosio turning his shoulders and sprinting back to the track. He gave a leap of courtesy at the wall, but it sailed way up into the trees. Second Harwich home run this inning, both on solo blasts, and they now lead by 5 again. Garbrick's first offering is inside to the hitter, Cam Thompson. That brushes him off the plate. It's 1-0. So this inning certainly had a pattern to it. 6-3 put out, solo home run. 6-3 put out, solo home run. And that pitch is slapped the other way into left center. Hauver coming in, it drops in front. Third Harwich hit of the inning. It's an opposite field single for Cam Thompson, his first hit of the afternoon. He's aboard at first. Still 2 down, and it brings up Michael Ludwig. So Garbrick came in this inning to relieve Patrick Fredrickson, but he's gotten wounded a bit here in the top of the fourth. He now works out of the stretch for the first time this inning. Kicks and delivers home to breaking ball up high. Thompson has an RBI today on a sacrifice fly, but also grounded into that 1-2-3 double play to help Patrick Fredrickson weave his way out of the top of the first. The offering down low off speed. Those were the first 2 outs of the inning in the top of the first on the Thompson double play. But Ludwig, the hitter, also 0 for 2. Or rather, Thompson's 0 for 1, but Ludwig 0 for 2. Now the 2-0. It's down low, ball 3. Ludwig out of Wake Forest came into the day hitting .311, but he's grounded out to short and flown out to center. 3-0 from Garbrick. Ludwig swings away and sends one foul up in the air. DeSantolo giving chase. He's got a play and he makes the grab. A nice job by the FAU Owl, Jared DeSantolo, sprinting to his right over toward the Harbor Hawk dugout, just a bit behind it, and makes the catch on the backhand going toward the fence for the third out of the inning. So Garbrick gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, both of them solo shots, and the Mariners are back out to a 7-2 advantage. We'll be back for the bottom of the fourth when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Rigsby Mosley, Adam Hackenberg, and Jared DeSantolo do up for the Harbor Hawks as they make their way back to the plate for action in the bottom of the fourth. They find themselves trailing the Harwich Mariners 7-2 in this ball game as Logan Allen returns back to the mound for some more work against these Harbor Hawks. Mosley digging in from the left side, 0 for 1. A strikeout victim earlier on in the ball game as he swings at a first pitch fastball and pops it up out of play. Well, besides the events that have taken place here at McKeon Park today, the weather is beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky, pretty modest crowd on hand. 0-1 breaking ball dropped in for a strike, 0-2 now on Mosley. This is one of the nicer days we've had for baseball as the 0-2 on the way from Allen. Swing and a miss, Mosley over the top of it into the dirt. Rothenberg fires down to first to retire him, and there's one gone.
And Logan Allen, like we talked about, really cruising. Struck out Brooks Carlson to end the third. Now he puts together a strikeout to start the bottom of the fourth. That's a half dozen to his name so far.
So here is Adam Hackenberg, the catcher out of Clemson, also a strikeout victim. First pitch, fastball over the top of it, 0-1. So DeSantolo awaiting on deck. Hackenberg into his stance, 0-1 from Allen on the way. That's a big fastball at the letter, swung on and missed. Quickly 0-2. As Lyle mentioned, 6 strikeouts for Allen and in prime position for a 7th right here against Hackenberg. It would be his 2nd of the ball game. The 0-2. Outside. Allen tried to sneak a backdoor breaking ball by Hackenberg. The count moves to 1-2. So the southpaw ready. Next offering sent on the ground towards short. Charging in to get it is Hughes. Fields fires to first in time to get Hackenberg 2 away.
Well, maybe not a strikeout there, but Allen's still inducing some pretty soft contact and an easy play for Hughes at shortstop, just having to move a little bit in.
And it's been Trevor Hauber that's gotten the better of Allen when he has given up a couple of base hits. Hauber had one in the first and then reached on an error in the third, but here's Jared DeSantolo. Over 1 this afternoon so far here in game 1. Just a 7-inning contest. First pitch to Jared up high, a fastball 1-0. Allen has had pinpoint command of his pitches, dropping in some breaking balls here and there, but that fastball's been his bread and butter. As he's ready for a 1-0. Inside, brushing Jared back a bit. 2 balls and no strikes. Jared in his first plate appearance, popped out to Galland in left field. A 2-0 from Allen. Swing and a miss. Almost came out of his shoes there, make the count 2-1. Should Jared find a way to reach base here in this inning, it would extend things for Bryce Teodosio, who made an outstanding catch in center field earlier on. The 2-1. Fastball just missed down and away. Rothenberg held the spot for just a minute, but could not pick up the call. And Jared finds himself ahead 3-1. Good hitters count. Allen quickly back into the windup. The 3-1. Fastball fouled away. Drifting off to the left and up on the grassy hill behind the bleachers. 7 runs on 10 hits for Harwich today. 2 runs on 2 hits for Hyannis. Offense running out of outs to come back, being 5 down in this game. The payoff from Allen. Fastball sent in the air into shallow center. Charging in is Weimer, and it will fall in front of him for a base hit. So Jared pokes one into the outfield, and he finds himself aboard now for Bryce Teodosio.
Well, any way you can reach base, and Allen, the way he's been cruising today, it's been tough to get much off of him, but DeSantolo just pokes one out to short center field, finds a little bit of grass out there, and just like that, he reaches base.
So here is Bryce digging in from the right side. Came into action today hitting well under 100, just at .67, one for his first 15. And he's been known for his spectacular defense that was put on display earlier in the game as he watches a first pitch strike at the knees. So trying to return the favor and turn the fortunes for him a little bit at the plate. Allen's 0-1. Breaking ball, that's in there, strike 2. Right at the knees on the low outside corner. So Allen 1 strike away from working out of the 4th. Left-hander set, stare at Jared over at first, the 0-2, fouled back. So Bryce just getting a piece. He was a bit under the fastball, but staying alive. And will reset himself for the next 0-2. Tomorrow's another makeup game for Hyannis. He'll travel over the bridge to Wareham. That game was scheduled for earlier this week. As an 0-2 breaking ball misses wide. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Teodosio. And that's going to be the common trend going forward in the season. A lot of makeup games. Most of them scheduled for a bit later on as we enter the month of July. 1-2 to Bryce on the way. Fastball just foul tip straight back into the brick wall as it trickles back toward Rothenberg behind the dish. So the Clemson product batting out of the number 9 spot in the lineup for what was Chad Gassman before he was tossed earlier on in the ballgame back in the first inning. Putting up a tough fight here against Allen. The next 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, got him. Ran up the ladder with a fastball. Teodosio offered 2 strikeouts in the inning for Logan Allen, and Harbor Hawks strand 1. It's Jared DeSantolo at first base. The score 7-2 Harwich when they return to the plate in the top of the 5th on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Bringing you back to McKeon Park for action in the top of the 5th. 7-2 is our score. Harwich currently on top of the hometown team, Hyannis Harbor Hawks. 7 runs on 10 hits thus far, 2 runs on 3 hits for Hyannis, and it's a new arm into the game for the Harbor Hawks. It's the Dayton product, Cole Pletka. The right-hander who stands at 6'8" will toe the slab for Hyannis in the 5th inning against the bottom third of the Mariners' order, starting with Michael Lloyd. First pitch of the inning popped up on the infield right at Nick Lofton at short. He'll have no problem. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And Pletka comes in to relieve Alex Garbrick, who threw the 4th. And like we talked about, he had a bit of a tough go of it. He gave up 3 hits in his inning. 2 of them were solo shots. But Cole Pletka, a guy who was claimed off waivers from YD, started his summer with Red Sox in the Eastern Division. And now the Hyannis coaching staff hoping to get some innings out of him here with the Hyannis Ball Club.
So now it's the catcher, Michael Rothenberg, who watches a fastball high called strike, 0-1. And Pletka, in his season at Dayton, tossed 56 in the 3rd innings, yielding 30 earned. As the 0-1 pitch now to Hughes is high, evens the count. So Pletka making his first appearance of the season in a Harbor Hawk uniform. Working from the windup, kicks and fires a 1-1. Breaking ball in the air to left center. Hauver racing in, converging with Teodosio, and it will be Bryce to make the play for out number 2.
And Bryce covered a lot of ground out there. He was shaded just about straight up in center field. Sprinted in and to his right and called off Hauver, but good communication between the two of them to put away that lazy fly ball.
So back to the top of the order now for Chris Gowan, the Boston College Eagle, making his 4th plate appearance in game 1 of this double dip. Pletka fires in a fastball. It catches the outside corner, 0-1. Gowan last time up rolled one over to Lofton at short. That was back in the 3rd inning. Pletka certainly an imposing figure at 6'8" on the mound, ready for an 0-1. Drops in a breaking ball, this time on the inside half, 0-2. So Pletka working a very strong inning in relief here in his Harbor Hawk debut in the 5th. 1 strike away from evading any trouble. The 0-2. Fastball low. Gowan able to lay off a ball and 2 strikes. Infield straight up, outfield the same way. DeSantolo, who had been playing in, is now back behind the bag as a 1-2 has popped up in foul territory. Carlson giving it a look, but we'll watch it sail over the fence out of play. So Pletka takes a stroll around the mound and now back toward the rubber. Resetting himself for a 1-2 pitch. Kicks and fires. Fastball is tapped foul off to the left over toward the Hyannis dugout in foul territory. So the count will hold and Pletka will do it again. Again, Lyle, as you mentioned, claimed off waivers from the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. And now here in the orange and blue pinstripes. A 1-2 on the way to Gowan. Fastball, he chased after it, but sent it up and out of play. So putting up a tough fight against the 6'8" righty. Joey Weimer Jr., who's had himself quite the day loosening up in the on-deck area. 2 for 3 thus far with a double and a single. Pletka shakes off a couple signs as Gowan awaits the 1-2. Here it is. Fastball down, smothered by Hackenberg, and the count draws even. The top 5 members of this Harwich lineup has done some damage against Hyannis this afternoon. As Pletka delivers a 2-2. Fastball sent right back up the middle, a laser into center field toward Bryce Teodosio. And Chris Gowan is aboard with 2 away.
And Gowan found himself in a 2-strike count, but that time saw one out over toward the middle of the plate, and he just sent it right back where it came from, just on a dead rope out to straightaway center field, just right up the middle. There's the 11th hit of the day for Harwich as well.
So Joey Weimer Jr. will get another chance here in the 5th. His 4th plate appearance. 2 for 3 thus far, grounded out to Nick Lofton. just a few frames ago as he foul tips one into the mid of Hackenberg, 0-1 the count. Doubled and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third. So responsible for plating 2 of the 7 runs on the board for Harwich currently. Pleka gathers from the stretch. Runner takes off for second. Breaking ball is inside. Throw down to second base is off the glove of Servideo. And in safely is Chris Gowan.
And a good jump from him, too. First off, he was going on the first move, but then the fact that Pletka threw a breaking ball already gave advantage to the runner Gallen to begin with. Hackenberg, like we've seen, he has a strong arm, and he made a quick throw down to second, but just couldn't quite get the runner in time.
So Joey Weimer Jr. dealing with a 1-1 count here against Pleka. The pitch. Fastball catches the outside corner, and Weimer gives a bit of a shake of the head back toward home plate umpire Mark Chamberlain. It's been an up and down strike zone throughout the afternoon thus far. That's the reason Chad Gassman has been tossed from this game. He will return for game 2, however. 1-2. In the air, right side. Back toward the fence as Hackenberg gives it a look, and it will trail off into the distance. Sounded like it may have bounced off those blue bleachers off to our right. But nonetheless, the count holds to Joey Weimer at 1-2 as back to the bag at second is Chris Gowan. So 2 down. It was a couple of pop-ups that got us to this point. And Pleka has been stuck on 1 pitch away from getting out of this frame. 1-2 pitch. Runner breaks for third. A breaking ball inside is sliding in safely. Is Chris Gowan down at third base. The count levels at 2-2.
And again, another breaking ball there from Pletka gave the advantage to the runner Gallen, so he's read a couple of pretty good jumps so far, but that one was really, really close on that breaking ball from Pletka. Maybe just missed a little bit inside.
Pleka gave a long stare at the end of that call. Another 2-2 on the way. Breaking ball inside, and that ran in and got him. So Weimer Jr. trots down to first, loses the elbow guard as well as the bat, and it's men on the corners now for Daniel Cabrera. So the first free pass of the afternoon way of a hit by pitch. A few walks have been surrendered. 3 by the starter Fredrickson. Garber did not issue any, but did give up a couple of solo shots. So here is Cabrera, a triple shy of the cycle here in the 5th inning. Again, a 7-inning doubleheader. Runner goes for second. First pitch was inside. Snap throw back to third is not in time as both runners are in safely.
So all 3 stolen bases this inning have come off Pletka breaking balls. So giving advantage to some of the Harwich runners. And Hackenberg, he made the smart play. Likely wasn't going to get the runner at second, so he tried to pump fake there, see if he could get any bait from the runner at third Galland, although he didn't.
So 2 in scoring position with 2 out is a cut and a miss on a fastball right down central from Pleka. Makes the count even at 1-1. Cabrera, a single in the first, or a double in the first, a single in the third, and a home run in the fourth. Pleka stares in at Hackenberg and gets his sign before a 1-1. Set at the belt and fires. Another breaking ball, that one good for a strike. Picking up the outer third of the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I'm willing to bet, Lyle, that nobody's ever hit for the cycle in the Cape League in a 7-inning game. A rare feat in itself in a 9-inning contest, but certainly in a 7-inning contest would be an extreme rarity. Pleka's 1-2. Fastball check, swing. Did he go around? Appeal to the third base umpire, and yes, he did. So strike 3, down goes Cabrera in his 4th plate appearance. Pleka strides off the mound, holds the damage, and it's still 7-2 Harwich heading to the bottom of the frame on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Anthony Servideo striding toward the plate for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the fifth, trailing by 5 by a score of 7-2. A new pitcher on the mound for the Mariners. It's Antonio Menendez from Wake Forest, the right-hander. So far this season, he's making his third appearance today. 4 innings pitched for him thus far. Giving up 5 runs, 11.25 ERA, struck out 5 and walked 1. So here's a guy that's walked twice this afternoon in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Anthony Servideo batting out of the leadoff spot. So the right-hander fires a fastball in for a strike on the outside corner to Servideo to start play here in the bottom of the fifth. Nick Lofton and Trevor Hauver set to follow the Ole Miss second baseman. The 0-1. Sent right back up the middle and under the leg of Menendez into center field, a base hit. So Servidio's aboard for the third time in as many tries here in the fifth to begin things for the Harbor Hawks. That'll give way to the Baylor Bear, Nick Lofton.
He's had a really nice day. I mean, Servideo was 0 for his first 7 since arriving on the Cape, but 2 walks and a base hit today, reaching base all 3 times safely. We've talked about it, Brendan. We know he's got speed, and we know he can hit for average, no doubt about it. And today he's pretty much showed it. And a good eye at the plate from the leadoff spot as well.
So here's Nick Lofton, who's also reached base once. He looks at a fastball high and wide. That came back in the third inning. He also came around to score as part of the 2-run frame. Menendez, a fastball cutter slider guy, is a pick back to first on Servideo, in with a dive. Spent last summer with the Charlottesville Tom Sox in the Valley League, and now making the jump here up to the elbow of Massachusetts on the Cape. Right-hander, a long pause. Now the 1-0. Fastball at the knees, a called strike, evens the count 1-1. So Trevor Hauver, who waits on deck, the only man to reach base twice today for Hyannis. Servideo, a modest lead over at first. Menendez spins and fires back to him. He's in with a dive again. So Hyannis trying to get anything going offensively. They snapped a 21-inning scoreless streak back in the third inning, putting up a couple on the board. The 1-1. Inside, make it 2-1 the count to Lofton. And again, Lyle, you talked about the story with Chad Gassman earlier on in the ball game against Orleans last year in an ejection. He was ejected here in the top of the first. Not as much antics, however, as the 2-1. Back goes flying on a swing and a miss from Lofton over toward the on-deck area. Trevor Hauver will go retrieve it. And we'll hand it back to the Baylor Bears. He walks toward the dugout. He'll go apply some pine tar to the handle, and we've seen that a handful of times here at McKeon Park. The bat going flying out of the hands of Harbor Hawks into foul ground. Then the transition, of course, from metal bats in college for most of these guys to wood bats now in the summer leagues. Not the easiest transition as Lofton is making his way back toward the plate with a 2-2 count. Menendez waiting patiently. 1 on, nobody out. That's Anthony Servideo down there at first base. Led off this inning with a single. Menendez is set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted down the left field line deep, sending Gowan back toward the wall. He makes the catch on the run toward the chalk. Servideo retreating back to the bag at first, and Lofton is set down on a loud out.
And that ball looked like it had double all over it. I mean, sprayed down the line, dropping quickly, but Gallen, some good closing speed, coming toward the chalk to just make that grab.
So Gowan took the best route to that baseball and caught it in stride heading toward the line, toward that Hyannis bullpen. A loud out number 1. Servideo still at first. Here's Trevor Hauver. First pitch from the right-handed Menendez is wide for a ball, 1-0. Kind of an odd release angle for Menendez as well. Comes from that not so much sidearm and kind of in between sidearm and 3/4 as he looks back towards Servideo again at first. Hauver reached back in the first inning with a single and then again in the third on an error from the first baseman Cavadas. 1-0. Fastball high.
And he changes arm angles a little bit because for the most part, he'd definitely be labeled a sidewinder. But that one right there was not even so much closer to 3/4. That was pretty much over the top. So A deceptive right-hander to say the least, but that's another thing in his arsenal he can do.
2-0 to Hopper, a fastball. Raising the elbows was the Sun Devil out of the way to avoid being plunked, and now in the driver's seat 3-0. Hunter Goodman awaits on deck. Batting in the cleanup spot for Hyannis this afternoon. Hopper awaits the 3-0 from the right-hander. Here it is. Right down the middle at the knees, a called strike, 3-1. The Servideo down there at first base, always a threat to take off. 23 stolen bags. He's got some wheels on the base paths. The 3-1 to Hopper. Chopper towards short. Ranging over is Hughes. He's got it. Flipped the short way to second for one. To first, not in time as Hopper beats it out. But Servideo, the lead runner, is erased, and now it'll be 2 down for Hunter Goodman. So Goodman striding toward the plate. 0 for 1, a strikeout in the first, and then reached on a fielder's choice. So 2 down with the runner aboard. 7-2, Harwich out in front in the bottom of the 5th from McKeon Park. First pitch from Menendez, fired and tapped foul off the chest protector of Rothenberg. And Goodman, who was swinging a hot bat earlier in the season, has cooled off a bit. Came into play today right at the Mendoza line at 200. Had a couple of home runs earlier on in the season and would love to get the bat going again as he pops up in 0-1. Ranging back into short right, the second baseman Thompson. He's there. The right fielder coming in on strong, Ludwig, and he'll make the catch over the head of Thompson. But nonetheless, that will retire the side. So no runs on 1 hit for Hyannis as they go down in the bottom of the 5th. Still down by 5, 7-2. Harwich coming back to the plate on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome you back to McKeon Park. Top 6 here, 7-2 the score. The Harwich Mariners currently leading the hometown Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A new arm into the game for Hyannis. It's Joe Quintal, making his 3rd appearance of the summer. And last time we saw Joe was a week ago today in an 11-5 loss in game 1 of a doubleheader at the hands of the Brewster Whitecaps. He went 3 innings in that contest, gave up 6 earned on 6 hits. So would love to try and redeem himself here against Harwich in a relief appearance as he wires a fastball to the leadoff man Tyler Keenan, 1-0. Nico Cavadas and Cam Thompson set to follow in the frame as the right-hander kicks and fires. Another fastball tailing too far off the outer edge. 2 balls, no strikes. So Quintal, right-hander from Fordham University, loves to work quickly. Back with a 2-0, cracked in the air to deep center field, sending Teodosio back toward the track, and he will make the catch, retreating toward the fence. And there's one away. So Bryce again showing that speed out there in center field. Got a good read off the bat. Made a spectacular catch leaping up against the wall earlier on in the ball game. That came back in the third inning. An incredible leaping play as this will bring up Nico Cavadas. Quintal being helped out by his defense that time, and with one away, he'll deal to the left-handed hitter Cavadas out of Notre Dame as a curveball misses low, 1-0. Hyannis, as a pitching staff, came into today surrendering the most hits as well as the most walks. 1-0 fastball misses just wide. Cavadas thought about going after it, decided against it. Takes a quick step out to adjust the batting gloves. The 2-0. Another fastball that misses. 3 balls, no strikes. So Nico firmly in the driver's seat here with one down. I mentioned the most hits given up in the entire CCBL by the Hyannis pitching staff, 78 to be exact. That's a 3-0. That misses down. He walked him. So Cavadas is aboard now for Cam Thompson with one down. And on top of those 78 hits that Hyannis had allowed, 11 more tacked on today. So currently sitting at 89 hits. And the most walks as well. A handful dished out today. They came into action with 49. So with one down, here's Thompson. Looks at a first pitch fastball, a called strike on the inside corner. Meanwhile for Hyannis, 2 runs on just 4 hits. The Harwich offense is not known to outburst very often. As a 0-1 breaking ball is slapped foul down the right field line. Cavadas will retreat back to the bag. They won 2-1 over Cotuit last night to even their record back to 500 at 5-5. But they came into today 7th in average and 8th in on-base percentage. But they have been aboard a whole lot today with 11 hits. And as I mentioned, the handful of walks. 0-2 misses high with a fastball from Quintal, 1-2. On the flip side of that for Harwich, still talking about some numbers. The pitching staff has been off the charts. 3rd best ERA in the league at 3.19. An opponent's hitting just above the Mendoza line at 2.01. A foul tip into the mid of Hackenberg. He held on as it trailed toward the dirt. That's strike 3. So Thompson goes down, and that'll bring up Michael Ludwig. So the Wake Forest right fielder will dig in. Making his 4th plate appearance here in the 6th inning with the runner aboard and 2 down. Quintal looking to make quick work in the 6th of these Harwich Mariners. Fastball up and away. The Hyannis pitching staff, worst ERA in the league coming into tonight. 7.81 as a fastball catches the outside corner to even the count on Ludwig. The highest opponent batting average at 278 for them as well. So complete opposite of what Harwich brings to the table in terms of arms on the mound. 1-1 from Quintal, a breaking ball. Fell off the table and right down central for a strike, 1-2. So the Fordham University product 1 pitch away from working out of the 6th. And what would be a rather impressive otherwise beside the walk. 1-2, breaking ball into the dirt. Chested by Hackenberg, kept it in front, and the count evens again, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Quintal out of the stretch. Still just 1 pitch away, looking to retire Ludwig for the final out. Here's the pitch. In the air to right field. Sending Mosley back toward the track. He's against the wall, and it's off the wall. Rounding second, heading to third is Cavadas, strolling into second, not stopping there. The throw to the plate is going to be in time to get him at the plate. They gunned down Cavadas, who ran through the stop sign. A great relay throw from Anthony Servideo retires the side to keep Harwich off the boards. Still 7-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th in the late frames of Game 1 of this double dip on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back from McKeon Park for the action in the bottom of the sixth. Brooks Carlson, Rigsby Mosley, and Adam Hackenberg due up in the frame. Antonio Menendez back to the hill, the right-hander from Wake Forest, in his second inning of relief with his Harwich Mariners currently sitting on top 7-2. First pitch to Brooks Carlson, a fastball. It's in for a strike on the outside corner. Brooks 0 for 2 on the day, a pair of strikeouts, one in the first, one in the third. Trying to jumpstart this Harbor Hawk offense as we enter the late frames of game one of a doubleheader here on this beautiful Sunday. Menendez winds and fires a 1-1. Breaking ball down low by the shins. 2 balls and a strike. Some fans moving about the confines of the ballpark here at McKeon. 2-1 fastball up high, make it 3-1. Some of these fans will stick around for the break in between and the remainder of action here today. The 3-1. Slapped foul down the right field line out of play, and the count runs full. So Menendez right out of the gates here in the sixth, having to work against Brooks Carlson. Looks like it'll be Mitch McIntyre hitting for Rigsby Mosley, taking some practice cuts in the on-deck circle. Payoff to Carlson. Foul away again off to the right. The count will stay right where it is. So Brooks has struggled with the bat here on the Cape early on in the season, just 185 for him entering today. As he awaits a payoff from Menendez, the next 3-2 is in the air to right field. Drifting over is Ludwig. He'll make the catch, moving slightly to his left. One down now for Mitch McIntyre. So Mitch scheduled to make his first plate appearance right here in the sixth inning. So with one down, the BYU center fielder takes his place in the left-handed batter's box. Two-way player from Brigham Young, that is. He's also been featured in a couple of outings on the mound. He's gone 2 scoreless innings, picked up 3 strikeouts, but with the bat, it's been a bit of a slow start. 148, 4 for his first 27. At least a double, picked up a couple RBIs, but has struck out 11 times. First pitch from Menendez, a fastball down and away as McIntyre watches it go by 1-0. Menendez winds and fires 1-0. Fastball in for a strike. Evens the count on Mitch, 1-1. Menendez a pause, now fires. 1-1, cut and a miss. High fastball, foul tipped. Held on to by the catcher Rothenberg behind the plate, and the count moves to 1-2 in favor of the right-hander on the mound, Menendez. McIntyre not just a two-way player on the baseball field. Also played quarterback in high school. Sends a 1-1 pitch right back up the middle there. There he goes, getting the bat going with a single. His first plate appearance here in game one. He notches a base hit, the 5th of the day for Hyannis. That'll bring up Adam Hackenberg. So a runner aboard for Hyannis, just 1 down. Perhaps maybe trying to break through against this Harwich bullpen. Logan Allen started this game and was incredible, racking up 7 strikeouts in the process. 2 runs that Hyannis put up on that scoreboard in right center were both unearned. So Allen maintaining an ERA of 0.00 through his Cape League season and what will probably be the last outing for him in a Harwich uniform. So he's getting set to go off to Team USA. First pitch to Hackenberg, a chopper right side, and that's going to get through the infield into right, a base hit. McIntyre puts the brakes on around second. There's going to be 2 runners aboard now for Jared DeSantolo. And we're going to get a pinch hitter here for DeSantolo as well. It's Fox Simonis. So more substitutions here for Hyannis. Fox will take his place when action will resume, but time is called, and Menendez is going to receive a visit from the dugout. as well as Rothenberg makes his way out to the mound to attend the meeting. So Brooks Carlson started this frame with a fly out to right. Then it was Mitch McIntyre who notched a single. Hackenberg followed that up with a single of his own. And now Fox Simone is loosening up just to the right of, or the left, of home plate. So a short conference on the mound for Menendez, probably just trying to settle him down after giving up back-to-back base hits. Hyannis mounting a mini threat here in the home half of the sixth. Still trailing things by 5. So Simone is set to dig in. 2 for 10 on his Cape League summer so far, right at 200. Menendez, couple checks on the runner at second, and then fires a fastball in for a strike. Picking up the bottom of the zone, 0-1. That's McIntyre at second, Hackenberg at first. Fox Simone is coming cold off the bench, trying to see what he can do with the bat. 0-1. Again, same pitch, same spot, in for a strike, 0-2. Simonis waving the bat above his right shoulder, staring out at the right-hander on the mound. Gets his sign set at the belt. Kicks and fires an 0-2. Fastball down and in. Simonis with a stone cold take, and the count moves. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Outfield playing pretty much straight up with just 1 out. Simonis trying to send one into the gap and put Hyannis back on the board. 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Down he goes. So Simonis can't come through in a pinch hit appearance, and now it's Bryce Teodosio's turn with 2 down. So Bryce so far today, 0 for 2, bounced one to second base to Thompson and then struck out in the 4th. Those 2 plate appearances came in back-to-back innings in the 3rd and 4th. Clemson center fielder trying to see what he can do with 2 on as he watches the fastball down and in for ball 1. A long pause from Menendez, fires. Liner soft one towards second base, picked up by Thompson, ranging to his right, flip to first to Cavadas, and that is in time to retire the side. So Teodosio can't punch one through into the outfield. Hyannis strands 2. They put up a couple base hits in the inning, but nothing to show for it. Still 7-2. Harwich on top. We head to the last frame. Top 7 coming up on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. We're back for the last frame of game 1. We enter the top of the 7th. 1 more plate appearance per side, barring a comeback of epic proportions for Hyannis. Joe Quintal back on the mound for his 2nd inning in relief in a 7-2 ball game that features the Harwich Mariners out in front. This is just game one of this doubleheader on this beautiful Sunday from McKeon Park. We have another one coming up for you just about a half hour at the conclusion of this one. First pitch to the first batter of the inning, Michael Rothenberg, a fastball down and away from Quintal. Worked a relatively clean inning back in the sixth, but helped out by his defense as he drops in a breaking ball in the outside corner to even the count. It was a double by Michael Ludwig, but Nico Cavadas running through the stop sign at third, gunned down at the plate. 1-1, a fastball just below the knees, 2-1. Quintal working steadily from the windup, the 2-1. Fastball misses up and away. 3 balls and a strike on the catcher, Michael Rothenberg. 1 for 3 on his evening thus far, the 3-1. Tap foul off to the right. Struck out back in the second, singled in the third. That was his one hit of the afternoon. Dealing with a full count against the Fordham righty. Shakes off a couple signs. Now he's got one. Payoff pitch coming. Swung on it. Missed strike 3. Waves and misses through a breaking ball. 1 down now for Hal Hughes.
Second strikeout for Quintal, and a good breaking ball there. Fooling Rothberg as he just swung right through it. And for Joe, he got out of that jam last inning and off to a good start here. I mean, you talked about it, Brendan, a guy who's kind of trying to make up for a little bit of time, this time out of relief, but it's looked pretty strong so far.
So here's Hal Hughes, watches a fastball in for a strike, catching the bottom of the zone, 0-1. Quintal has looked pretty steady out of the bullpen today for Hyannis. 0-1. Fastball down and in, tried to pick that same spot, couldn't do it. The count evens up on the LSU shortstop. 1-1 from Quintal. Breaking ball into the dirt, stopped by Hackenberg. Count 2-1. So Patrick Fredrickson, to recap in this game, went 3 innings, gave up 7 hits, yielded 5 runs. 2-1 is sent back up the middle into center field. And a base hit for the number 9 man, Hal Hughes, reaching base for the second time today. And that'll flip the lineup card back to Chris Gowan.
Just a nice piece of hitting. Just sprayed one right back up the middle. Kept his hands back, got the barrel out in front, and just squared it up.
So the BC left fielder will dig in. He's been aboard twice today, a walk and a single. Now batting with a runner at first and 1 down in the top of the 7th against Quintal, who fires in a breaking ball in for a strike. Hyannis put up 2 runs on 6 hits, breaking a scoreless streak of 21 straight. Back in the third as Quintal fires a fastball, popped up on the right side. Drifting after it is Brooks Carlson toward the fence. Still ranging back, and he makes the catch over the shoulder. How about that for Brooks Carlson, going all the way over toward the Harwich bullpen and reeling it in for the second out of the inning.
And that's a really nice play from Brooks. He had to go back into his left a little bit, and he played it perfectly. The ball was borderline going to get out of play, so he runs all the way to the fence, lines it up. If he has to move back into the field of play, he can do so pretty easily, and that's pretty much what he did. He had to take an extra step back at the end, but instead of kind of trying to guess where it is and keep taking your eyes off the ball, he just puts the glove on the fence and moves his way back.
So now Joey Weimer steps in. He watches a high fastball go by, 1-0. That's one of the finer plays you'll see from a first baseman here in the Cape Cod League. Brooks Carlson all the way over in foul territory, and there's no shortage of it here at McKeon Park. There's a lot of it. 1-0. Another high fastball. Hackenberg picked Bill back to first, and Carlson applies the tag, not in time. So Hal Hughes back in with a dive, a close play from Hackenberg. He's not afraid to let loose and fire it down to those corner backs. So Weimer waving the bat way high above the head and watches a fastball go by on the outside corner to make the count 2-1. Adjusts the sleeves on the jersey a bit, stares out at Quintal, who has the sign at the chest, the 2-1. Into the dirt, knocked down by Hackenberg, not far enough away for the runner Hughes to advance. He's back to first. That's a throw gets away back to Quintal, backed up nicely by Servideo. Good awareness there to back it up. Hughes, however, did not move off the bag at first. So the count 3-1 in favor of the Cincinnati center fielder Weimer. Quintal set the pitch. A called strike on the outside. Weimer was about ready to head down to first. Now we'll retreat back just outside the right-handed batter's box with a full count. Quintal trying to battle his way back. Pick up the second strikeout of the frame. He got Rothenberg to fan for the first out of the inning. Runner goes for second. A high fly to deep left center field. Moving back is Hoffer and Teodosio to the wall, and it's Hoffer going to be making the catch on the warning track. That ball just ran out of juice. It was a shot off the bat of Weimer, but not to be as Hoffer reels it in to retire the side. Still 7-2. Last ups for Hyannis in game one when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Last chance for Hyannis here in game one, trailing 7-2 as the top of the order, Anthony Servideo, Nick Lofton, and Trevor Hoffer will be dealing with a new arm. The third of the game for Harwich, it's Joe Boyle out of Notre Dame. Making his third appearance in a Mariners uniform this season. He's gone 3 innings, racked up 2 saves, has not allowed an earned run, much similar to the starter Logan Allen. So Allen and Boyle, really the two arms anchoring this Harwich pitching staff. As Boyle fires a fastball that gets under the legs of Rothenberg to the backstop, 1-0 to Servideo. And Lyle, you want to talk about velocity. This is the guy to talk about right here. Joe Boyle sits at about 97 to 99 and at times can touch triple digits. 1-0. Another fastball misses wide, 2-0.
Yeah, he gets up to as high as 100 miles an hour at times, maybe a tick above on a really good day. But Boyle, a guy who goes right out of the stretch, 6'7", 225 pounds.
2-0 fastball. That's in there on the inside corner. Make it 2-1 to Servideo. And the new scoreboard featured here at McKeon Park does have a radar gun, although it's not in use yet. 2-1, swing and a miss. Servideo well behind a big fastball from Boyle. And it'll be interesting to see if that radar gun was on, just how high Boyle could touch. Servideo dealing with a 2-2 count against the right-hander. Here comes the pitch, fastball low, make it full. Servideo's reached all 3 times he's been at the plate today. He's drawn a couple walks and then singled in the 5th. So Boyle set out of the stretch for a payoff pitch, 3-2. Check swing, Servideo, and he's down. He goes on strikes. There was a fastball, a called strike anyway. So back to the bench goes Anthony. That'll bring up Nick Lofton.
And what do you know? That really good fastball from Boyle. It's pretty much all he threw in that at bat. And Servideo just checked his swing on it, so didn't end up walking for the third time. But you can already see right from here, overpowering out of that right hand.
First pitch, a fastball to Lofton, catching the outer part of the zone a bit high, but a called strike. The Boyle featuring that big fastball, and then comes back with a soft breaking ball, drops it in for strike two. So a change of speeds to the Baylor Bear, Nick Lofton. Looking bleak for the home nine now, trailing by 5 in the bottom of the 7th. Here in game 1 of this doubleheader, but Lofton pokes one into center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit. So Lofton not going quietly. He's got his second single of the day. That'll bring up Trevor Hauver.
It's like they always say, faster it comes in, the faster it'll go out. Lofton there, he just squares one up, shoots one into center field, and puts a man on board for the Harbor Hawks. And for Lofton, that's his second hit of the day. He hit one pretty hard in his last at bat. It just got flagged down by Gallen toward the line. Right there, puts a Harbor Hawk runner aboard.
So 1-on-1 out now for the Arizona State Sun Devil. Hauver batting from the left side. Takes a fastball on the outside corner, strike one. Harbor Hawks have mounted up 7 hits now, but just 2 runs to show for it, as opposed to 12 for the Mariners, the 0-1. Fastball high. Evens up the count on Trevor.
And here's the other thing about Boyle, too, is he hasn't walked anybody yet this summer, so his command's gotten a lot better. Last summer when he was with Katuitt, he only threw 5 innings, but he walked 11 guys, but he also struck out 11.
Curveball popped up left side, racing after it Keenan and Gallen, but it will fall harmlessly in foul ground. So the count moves to 1-2 on Trevor.
But it's for that reason. I mean, when you're a college arm throwing 100 miles an hour, if you see that first thing, you'd think, oh, well, why is this kid not a household name across the country? Well, he's got to kind of shore up the command a little bit, although so far here on the Cape, he's looked really, really sharp.
1-2 to Trevor downstairs by the shoot top, make it 2-2. And you mentioned the no walks coming into today's outing. Punched out 6 as well and make it 7 now with the fanning of Servideo to lead off this frame. Got a chance to do the same to Hauver here on 2-2, and he does. A big fastball in the inside corner. Hauver couldn't catch up to it. 2 down now for Hunter Goodman.
Yeah, he just kind of brushes it inside. Trevor tried to get out in front of it, but coming up a little bit empty. And Boyle had that full count to Servideo, and he got him swinging ultimately. But I think that shows some of the progression from year 1 to year 2 here on the Cape for Boyle, as he's more pitching instead of throwing now.
Goodman waves and misses at a fastball down at the knees for strike 1. And a lot of times when pitchers come to these summer leagues, they'll be so tempted to try and aim and impress the scouts by picking their spots. They're not just letting loose and letting their stuff take care of the rest, as the 0-1 was fouled away.
Yeah, but for somebody like Boyle, it's just kind of about not getting too cute, because he's already going to impress people with that live arm hitting triple digits.
0-2 against Goodman. Fastball off the glove, and Goodman is tagged out, and that's the ball game. Initially, Goodman thought he might have got a piece of that one, but not to be, as Rothenberg picks it up, applies the tag, and Harwich hangs on for the win here in game 1 by a final score of 7-2. So 3 strikeouts in the 7th. Retires it. Joe Boyle gets the job done out of the bullpen for Harwich. And Lyle, it was really just a case of, the pitching not getting going early and the bats falling silent all afternoon.
Yeah, and Logan Allen was pretty much as good as advertised. I mean, he didn't end up giving up an earned run. He was just really, really crisp, just cruising through that Harbor Hawks lineup today. And for the Harwich offense, they jumped on Fredrickson early. They put up a couple of runs in the first inning. They put up 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth. So they kind of just set the tone. For Harwich, just a really good pitching outing and a really good offensive showing too. So not quite a lopsided game, as it was only a 5-run win. But they certainly kind of had control of that contest from minute 1.
So game 2 coming up in just a little bit, but one more time, the final line for the ball game today. Harwich wins it by a final of 7-2, 7 runs coming on 12 hits and 1 error. Meanwhile, for Hyannis, 2 runs on 7 hits and 1 error as well. So game 2 will begin in just about 30 minutes. We'll have that one for you when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.